Cool. Today I have a Makita DJV181B cordless jigsaw with an LXT platform on my desk. I'll tell you what's interesting about it, how it works, and whether it's worth paying attention to. Specifications. Stroke length of 26 millimeters. Strokes per minute from 800 to 3500. Everything is the same as us. And the most ridiculous thing is the maximum cutting depth of 135 millimeters. The ravings of a madman. It can, but how long will it take and how effective is it anyway? Okay, screw it. Dimensions. It weighs almost 2 kilograms. With a small battery, 2300 with a larger battery, 2.5. And its length is a little over 27 centimeters. The height of the body is 19 centimeters at the grip point of the body, 76 millimeters. And so, ergonomics. Overall, the feeling is mixed. I would call it comfortable, especially considering that the grip is quite close to the axis of the rod movement. It is easy to control when turning. But the thickness of the body together with the grip is terrible. Unlike all the other Makita tools, which fit perfectly in my hand, this thing feels like a cog. It seems fine, but if you work for a long time, your hand starts to cramp. If you have small hands, I don't recommend buying this device without holding it. First, let's go over the device. The base plate is made of cast aluminum with the rest of the insert. Interestingly, it can be locked not only at an angle but also forward and backward. And it locks in these positions. It's adjusted with an Allen key. A flat spring holds the key in the base. The dust extraction nozzle can be installed on the left or right. We insert the fang and tighten that stupid screw. I can't say there's any benefit to this nozzle. Most of the dust doesn't go into the vacuum cleaner. Backlight. Well, that's complete crap. With 2 sawdust, it's essentially non-existent. So the design quirks. How is this different from the others? First is the balancer. A dynamic counterweight is installed inside. What does this provide? In theory, of course. Vibration reduction is its main purpose. The counterweight moves in the opposite direction to the rod, compensating for inertial forces. This allows for more accurate cuts and reduces restraint during prolonged use. Improved control. The less the tool bounces in your hands, the easier it is to follow the molding line, especially when making curved cuts. Durability. The mechanism vibrates less. This extends the life of the bearings, motor, and the entire machine. Quiet operation, and the balance mechanism produces less noise and vibration. What are the downsides? First, the added weight. This counterweighs. Any extra grams inside the housing increases the overall weight of the tool, making it slightly more difficult to work while suspended. Design complexity. The presence of an additional moving element complicates repair. If a lot of dust gets into the unit or the lubricant dries out, this can lead to additional wear. Power consumption. The motor needs to expend some of the battery's energy to move the counterweight itself, which in theory might slightly reduce the overall runtime. Subjectively speaking, in my experience, it performs like any professional jigsaw. It's significantly less choppy than some cheapy, but I can't say it's significantly better than a Bosch or anyone else. As for the weight, given the metal gearbox housing, it already leans forward, so those 60 grams of counterweight don't make any difference. I don't work with the jigsaw, I don't care. As for curved cuts on very small radii, it kicks like any other professional jigsaw. It's noisy, just like everyone else. At low speeds, it's barely audible. At high speeds, it really does. What else is interesting about it? Well, first of all, the square cross-section of the rod. On paper, this minimizes blade play. In reality, see for yourself. Next, the support roller also has movement. Both power buttons are the same on both sides. To turn the tool on, you need to press the lock button, remove it, and then turn it on. Either button can be turned off. Only this one turns off, and this one also locks. Buttons, for my taste, are rather stiff. I wouldn't say they are comfortable. Okay, next, enclosed gearbox. This machine has an aluminum casing. This has its pros and cons. Firstly, it protects the transmission mechanism from dust and shavings. All sorts of crap doesn't get on the gear, and the teeth don't wear out as quickly. Sort of. Grease retention. It stays inside the gearbox without leaking out or clogging the inside of the motor housing.
I would be thick, but design doesn't allow it.
I haven't encountered that either. Heat dissipation. The aluminum housing acts as a radiator, dissipating heat from moving parts faster than plastic. But it can also work the other way around. If the factory lubricant has worn out or become cold, developed, everything in the enclosed gearbox will overheat faster and seize without any visible signs of a problem. Diagnostics are difficult. You won't see the problem just by opening housing. If there's grease depletion, a chipped tooth, or some other nasty thing, if it's stuck to a gear, you won't see anything until you disassemble the gearbox. And, of course, there's the weight. An enclosed metal unit is heavier and shifts the center of gravity of the entire tool. What else is there? Automatic mode. I should probably say right away that I'm for any automation that simplifies and improves work. But how is it done here? Here it's called soft. Nope, no load. But from now I'll call it auto crap. Because it is auto crap. What is it and how does it work? When you turn on the jigsaw but haven't yet driven the blade into the material, the motor runs at a low speed. As soon as the blade touches the material, the electronics sense the load, and the speed increases to the set maximum. After the cut is complete, the speed drops, but that's just on paper. In reality, if you're sawing something thicker than 5mm plywood, you might simply overload the jigs as it enters the material, causing it to go into protective mode instead of picking up speed. Conversely, if you set the speed to maximum, it jerks sharply, making it impossible to cut evenly and neatly. In reality, contrary to what's advertised, the speed doesn't drop at all after the cut. In fact, increasing the speed once you've already cut into the materials is a
Completely stupid idea.
It doesn't work that way. And this applies to any cutting process, whether it's sawing with a circular saw, drilling with a drill, or turning on a lathe. First, you need to get the RPM up, and then get into the details. This is some idiotic piece of crap, and it seems like it. If you don't like it, don't use it. It's already enabled from the factory. Interestingly, in previous generations, you couldn't even turn it off. How do you turn it off? It's not in the instructions.
Well, I just had this hunch that I needed to follow a certain sort of specific algorithm.
Set the RPM to 1. Make sure the tool is locked, meaning it doesn't respond to the start button. Hold the lock button until the backlight starts flashing, and turn the adjustment dial all the way to 6, then back down. Then watch the light. If the backlight flashes twice, the function is disabled. If the backlight flashes once, the function is enabled. To make sure it's off, you can set the speed to 6 and turn it on. If it immediately starts revving high, then the automatic crap is disabled. How does it work? Speaking matter-of-factly about its performance, I'm quite happy with it. Like any other professional jigsaw, it handles curved cuts without a hitch. I was even surprised. Cutting various monograms in a 40-grit board is no problem at all. If you take a thick fistal saw and turn off the pendulum, it produces an excellent even cut at medium speed. And of course, if you turn off the pendulum and increase the speed, it will cut quickly and crookedly. The main thing is not to try to cut resonance boards lengthwise with a jigsaw. Life is too short as it is, don't bother. So strengths and weaknesses. Bruce, for a jigsaw with a very standard pull, not like a reciprocating saw. Without any additional carbide clamps, the cutting geometry is excellent. Balance. It really is a pleasure to work with. The case turns well. Vibration is almost imperceptible. Repairability. Spare parts are available, unlike other professional tools. Although not cheap, you can find and fix it. Cons. The thickness of the case. Everything seems fine and dandy, but why couldn't they have moved that damn plug a little to the side and made the case noticeably thinner? I still don't get it. Although if you have a huge hand, you might like it. Power at low speeds. It's easy to overpower it at first and second speeds, and it goes into protective mode. In places, it's really pathetic. Automatic mode. It's complete crap. I don't know how it saves battery life, but it's easy to ruin the cutting line. Then there's the backlight. It would be better not to embarrass yourself at all than have this. Sawdust blower. According to the internet, it's there. But it feels like all the airflow is coming from the rod itself. Total crap. Nuances. The price, well, is around
$300.
That's noticeably more than all the cheap stuff. But what did you expect? In my opinion, it's basically worth it. Also, the hang down feature might not be to everyone's liking, especially if you often work in the air. That is, the metal gearbox housing might be unusual for you to feel like it's pecking. Other than that, it's a good professional tool. Overall, I like it. It does have its fair share of drawbacks, of course, and it's better to be aware of them before buying, but overall, it's a worthwhile thing. If you haven't seen the comparison with the Milwaukee Jigsaw yet, the link is in the description. That's basically it. Subscribe, like, and see all the other YouTube stuff there. That's it. Good luck, everyone.
Check back sometime.
And now, a ruble for those who write in the comments that I have a fake Makita. Guys, especially for you. Made in the UK. You can tell me I put the sticker on crookedly. Or unsealed the box crookedly. I also assembled it myself.
That's basically it.